Shadows of the past. The sunset painted the horizon in strokes of gold and scarlet, reflecting off the mirrored skyscrapers of downtown. The city buzzed quietly below, an orchestra of car horns, distant chatter, and footsteps echoing on pavements. High above it all, in the penthouse of the city's most prestigious high-rise, Aaron Maxwell buttoned his crisp white shirt and adjusted his silk tie in front of the full-length mirror. The reflection staring back was immaculate. A man at the zenith of success, rich, powerful, and confident. "You ready yet?" called a soft voice from the adjoining room. Aaron smiled slightly. His girlfriend, Vanessa Hart, emerged elegantly dressed in emerald green silk. She was dazzling, glamorous, the perfect companion to a man who had conquered the world. Vanessa was his ideal match, a woman who loved his success, thrived in his spotlight, and didn't question his ambition. They shared the easy laughter and sparkling champagne of a luxurious life, free of complications and regrets. "Ready as I'll ever be," he responded, offering his arm to her. She looped hers through his, her smile radiant and bright. Tonight was special. They were celebrating a multi-billion-dollar deal Aaron had just secured. A deal that would catapult him to a status few could ever dream of attaining. Yet even amidst the luxury and triumph, Aaron felt a vague sense of incompleteness, an emptiness he couldn't quite place. It crept in at odd moments, an uninvited ghost lingering at the edges of his consciousness, whispering of things left unfinished. But tonight was not a night for doubt or melancholy. Tonight, Aaron Maxwell was celebrating his ascendancy, and nothing would overshadow his triumph. They arrived at Lumina, the city's most opulent restaurant. A valet took his car keys, a gleaming black luxury sedan gliding smoothly out of sight. Inside, polished marble floors, lush golden drapes, and glittering chandeliers created an atmosphere of sublime decadence. The maitre d' greeted them warmly, leading the pair to a reserved corner table beside tall, panoramic windows overlooking the sprawling metropolis below. As they settled in, Vanessa leaned forward excitedly. "I can't wait for the Riviera next week," she beamed. "All the sun, private beaches, designer boutiques. Imagine how wonderful it'll be." Aaron nodded indulgently. He knew she relished the luxury of their world, traveling, shopping, attending exclusive galas. He did too, of course. It had become his identity, his brand. Yet sometimes, in quiet moments when no one was watching, he wondered if he had paid too steep a price for this life. They ordered fine wine, aged and rare, and savored each sip. Vanessa talked effortlessly about their itinerary, punctuating each detail with laughter and gentle touches of his hand. Aaron listened, but his gaze drifted occasionally toward the room, habitually observing other diners, wealthy, powerful individuals immersed in their own lavish bubbles. Then, as casually as breathing, his eyes fell upon her. At first, Aaron couldn't quite process the sight. It felt unreal, like a dream that had slipped into his waking life. But no matter how hard he tried to deny it, there she was, unmistakably real. Standing quietly near the kitchen doors, taking instructions from another server, was Maya. Maya Sterling, his ex-wife. Time seemed to stop. The familiar yet distant sight of her crashed into his consciousness, throwing his composed world into disarray. He had not seen her since their divorce, over 4 years ago, a split both bitter and tragic. Their marriage had unraveled quietly but painfully, their love slowly suffocated by Aaron's relentless pursuit of wealth and status. He had thought she left the city long ago, moved on somewhere distant where his influence wouldn't reach her. And yet here she was, carrying trays and serving others at Lumina, the very place he celebrated his rise. Vanessa was speaking, but Aaron no longer heard her words. All he saw was Maya, her posture careful, her eyes calm yet carrying an unmistakable weight of sadness. She moved gracefully between tables, unnoticed, blending into the shadows. Maya, who once belonged at his side, was now working in silence, unseen and unacknowledged. And then Aaron saw him, a small child, perhaps 3 or 4 years old, sitting quietly at a table tucked discreetly toward the back of the room. Dark-haired, serious, watchful eyes deep with quiet curiosity. The resemblance was undeniable, heart-stopping. Aaron felt an invisible fist grip his heart, squeezing mercilessly. A son, his son. The realization hit him like lightning, raw, powerful, and utterly transformative. Aaron's world, which moments ago seemed so certain and perfect, began spinning uncontrollably out of focus. How could Maya have hidden something like this from him? Had he been so disconnected from his past that he had missed the birth of his own child? Vanessa finally noticed his distraction. "Aaron." "Hello." Her voice carried a playful yet impatient tone. "Are you even listening?" He blinked, forcing his eyes away from the boy and back to her. "Sorry, just something caught my eye." She tilted her head slightly, suspicious but still smiling. "Like what?" "Just someone I used to know," he murmured. It wasn't a lie, exactly, but neither was it the truth. Vanessa's eyes narrowed slightly, but she shrugged off his evasiveness. "Well, forget it. Let's enjoy tonight." Aaron forced a smile, but inside he knew peace wouldn't return until he confronted this ghost from his past. He excused himself, pretending to head for the restroom, but instead circled back toward the serving station. His heart pounded loudly, nerves fraying his usual confidence. Finally, he caught Maya's eye, her gaze flickering briefly before settling on him with guarded defiance. "Maya," he said softly, trying to mask his tumultuous emotions. She hesitated before speaking. "Aaron." Her voice was cool, measured, cautious. "Fancy seeing you here. Can we talk?" She glanced around, uncertain, before nodding toward a discreet alcove. Quickly, they stepped away from prying eyes, tension hanging thickly between them. Maya crossed her arms protectively, her posture speaking volumes. Aaron, usually self-assured, found himself at a sudden loss. "I didn't expect to see you," he began awkwardly. Her eyes, once warm and filled with tenderness, stared coldly into his. "Life surprises us all, Aaron." He inhaled slowly, fighting to maintain composure. "The child," he murmured finally, hesitantly. "He looks just like me." "Maya is he." She stiffened visibly, her expression tightening. "He's mine." "Please," he pressed, gentle yet desperate. "I need to know." Her eyes flashed defiantly, challenging him. "You need to know." "Aaron, you walked away without a second glance. You chose your world over us. Why should you deserve an answer now?" "I didn't know," he began, frustration thickening his voice. "And whose fault is that?" She interrupted, pain slicing through her words. "You could have known if you'd been there. But you weren't. You left." He flinched at the accusation, its truth sharper than a blade. "I can't change the past, Maya. But please, just tell me." For a long, heavy moment, she studied his face, emotions warring behind her calm facade. Finally, she sighed softly, resignation heavy in her voice. "Yes, he's your son." Aaron's knees felt weak. 1,000 questions swirled, dizzying and urgent, but before he could speak, Maya's eyes narrowed with quiet intensity. "But don't you dare think that changes anything. He's been fine without you. We've been fine without you." She moved to leave, but he caught her arm gently. "Wait, please, Maya. I have a right to know him." "You had a right 4 years ago," she whispered fiercely, shaking his grip loose. "You threw that away. Don't come here expecting forgiveness or second chances." She turned away abruptly, returning to her work, leaving Aaron standing speechless, his carefully constructed world cracking around him. His head spun with confusion, regret, and longing, emotions he hadn't allowed himself to feel in years. He slowly made his way back to Vanessa, his expression troubled. She glanced up, sensing the shift in him immediately. "What happened?" she asked softly. Aaron stared past her, toward Maya and the small child, his child. "My whole life's about to change," he said quietly, unable to meet her eyes. "Everything I thought mattered, everything I've been chasing, it doesn't mean anything anymore." Vanessa frowned, confused and alarmed. "Aaron, you're scaring me." He drew a deep breath, meeting her eyes with newfound clarity. "I have a son, Vanessa. A son I didn't even know existed." She stared at him, stunned, speechless. As the realization settled between them, Aaron knew the life he carefully curated was about to unravel. He had climbed the ladder of success, only to find emptiness at its peak. Now, confronting shadows from the past, Aaron faced a crucial turning point. Everything he'd ever chased was meaningless compared to the child he had never known. It was time to choose between his carefully crafted world or the family he had unknowingly left behind. Crossroads of the heart. Aaron Maxwell stood on the terrace of his penthouse, overlooking the city glittering beneath a blanket of night. Far below, the streets hummed with distant energy, an energy he'd once considered his lifeblood. Now it seemed distant, foreign. He was lost in thought, unable to silence the echo of Maya's words. "You had a right 4 years ago. You threw that away." Aaron had built his fortune meticulously, each step measured, each decision strategic. His life was a perfectly constructed masterpiece, yet tonight, all of it felt meaningless. He took a deep breath, feeling the cool night air sharpen his senses. The image of his son, small, innocent, yet hauntingly familiar, refused to fade. Vanessa's heels clicked gently against the polished marble as she approached, her elegant figure silhouetted by the soft, ambient lights, yet Aaron hardly noticed her presence. "Aaron," she began softly, cautious but firm, "you've barely spoken since we returned from Lumina." He exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of truth press on his chest. Turning to face her, his gaze carried a gravity she'd never seen before. "It's complicated." Vanessa crossed her arms, not in anger, but to steady herself. Her carefully maintained mask slipped slightly, revealing genuine vulnerability. "You've always kept the past hidden, Aaron, but tonight, it's clear something is haunting you. Talk to me." He hesitated. Vulnerability had always felt like weakness, but Aaron knew honesty was no longer optional. It was inevitable. "The woman you saw tonight, Maya," he began, his voice strained. "She was my wife." Vanessa blinked, momentarily stunned, but quickly composed herself. "Ex-wife," she corrected softly, her tone suggesting she'd known more than she'd let on. He nodded solemnly. 4 years ago, I left her. At the time, I thought my ambition was everything. My business empire, my reputation, success, they mattered more. Maya never fit that life. She wanted simplicity, honesty, love, things I thought I'd outgrown. And the child." Aaron swallowed, finding his next words heavy. "She never told me she was pregnant. Tonight was the first time I learned I had a son. 4 years, and I never knew." Vanessa was quiet, carefully processing each revelation. Finally, she asked, her voice barely a whisper, "Do you love her?" The question was deceptively simple. Aaron looked away, the night breeze rustling his hair. "I don't know. But seeing her again, knowing she's struggled alone, I realize I never truly stopped." The silence between them stretched into infinity. Vanessa sighed gently. "Aaron, you built everything you ever wanted. But now you see there's a cost. You need to decide what matters most." Aaron turned sharply, surprised by her insight. "You're not angry." A gentle, sad smile touched her lips. "I could be angry, Aaron, but anger won't make you love me. You were always chasing something, even when we were happy. If your heart's still with her, then it's time we both admit it." Her grace in this moment humbled him, deepening his guilt. Yet Vanessa was right. He'd lived too long avoiding the truth. "I need to speak to Maya again," he said finally, a new resolve firming his tone. "Even if she pushes me away, I can't let my son grow up without me. I won't repeat my own father's mistakes." Vanessa reached out, squeezing his hand softly, perhaps for the last time. "Then go." The next morning, Aaron drove toward the modest neighborhood where Maya lived. The streets were lined with simple homes and small gardens, a stark contrast to the glittering high-rises of his world. Pulling to a stop outside her modest brick townhouse, his pulse quickened. This humble place held more value than his luxurious penthouse, because within it was a part of himself he'd never known. He approached cautiously, nerves twisting uncomfortably in his stomach. As he knocked softly, the door opened, revealing Maya, whose eyes widened in surprise before narrowing cautiously. "Aaron, you shouldn't be here." "I can't just pretend this never happened," he replied earnestly. "Please, Maya, give me a chance to make this right." She hesitated, clearly conflicted. But before she could respond, a small voice called from behind her, bright and innocent. "Mama." Aaron's heart jumped as the child appeared, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Aaron knelt instinctively, drawn to the little boy whose curious eyes mirrored his own. Maya sighed, gently placing a protective hand on her son's shoulder. "Nathan, honey, this is an old friend. His name is Aaron." The boy, Nathan, studied Aaron carefully, head tilted slightly. Aaron's heart squeezed painfully. He saw himself so clearly reflected in the child's features. "Hi, Nathan," Aaron managed gently, voice thick with emotion. Nathan offered a shy smile, holding his rabbit tighter. "Hi." Maya's defenses faltered slightly at seeing Aaron's tenderness, but she quickly recovered. "Nathan, sweetheart, go finish your drawing. Mommy needs to talk." Nathan nodded, bounding back inside, unaware of the tension lingering in the air. Maya turned, resigned, gesturing Aaron to follow her to the small porch, overlooking a quiet, leafy street. Once alone, she fixed him with a sharp look. "You can't just walk into his life and expect forgiveness. Nathan needs stability, Aaron, not false promises." "I know," Aaron said firmly. "That's why I'm here. Not to make empty promises, but to be there. I can't change my mistakes, Maya, but I can make new choices. I'm ready to be part of Nathan's life." Maya studied him intently, searching for sincerity beneath his carefully maintained confidence. Nathan deserves better than half-hearted involvement. If you commit to him, there's no turning back. Aaron met her gaze directly, determination burning in his eyes. "I'll prove it, whatever it takes." Maya hesitated, the silence between them filled with years of unspoken feelings. Finally, she nodded cautiously. "We'll take it slow, Aaron. On my terms. Nathan's trust, and mine, isn't easily won." "Fair enough," Aaron agreed, relief washing over him. Weeks passed slowly. Aaron's life shifted dramatically, his schedule increasingly consumed by trips to Maya's neighborhood, learning to know his son. At first, Nathan was shy and hesitant, but gradually warmed to Aaron's gentle persistence. Aaron's luxurious penthouse and expensive suits meant nothing to a child who valued time and attention above wealth. For Aaron, the transformation was profound. He exchanged late-night business meetings for storybooks, contracts for crayons. With every hour spent with Nathan, Aaron found himself happier, more fulfilled than he'd ever been in a boardroom or exclusive party. However, his old life was not easily discarded. Friends whispered, colleagues criticized, unable to comprehend why Aaron Maxwell would trade success and power for something as ordinary as fatherhood. One afternoon, Aaron's closest business partner, Jack Bennett, confronted him directly in his downtown office. "Aaron, you've built an empire. Are you really going to abandon everything for a kid and an ex-wife?" Jack challenged sharply. Aaron calmly placed a framed picture of Nathan on the desk between them. "Jack, for years I thought money and power defined success. But look at this boy. He's my success. Everything else is secondary." Jack hesitated, shaken by Aaron's sincerity. "You'd throw it all away?" Aaron smiled genuinely for the first time in a long time. "No, I'm finally holding on to what truly matters." Jack shook his head, disbelief mixed with reluctant admiration. "I hope you're right." "I am," Aaron replied. "Certain. Because for the first time, I'm choosing happiness over success." That night, after putting Nathan to bed, Aaron sat quietly beside Maya, sharing tea in her humble living room. For the first time in weeks, the tension had softened into quiet companionship. "Are you sure about this, Aaron?" Maya asked softly, breaking the silence. "It's a completely different life." He nodded, meeting her eyes. "I finally understand what's important. I've wasted enough time chasing meaningless things. This life, with you, with Nathan, it's exactly what I never knew I needed." Maya's eyes filled with tears, long-buried emotions surfacing. "Aaron, if you're here, it's forever. I can't survive another heartbreak." Gently taking her hand, he squeezed it reassuringly. "I'm here for as long as you'll have me." She exhaled slowly, hope finally overcoming fear. "Then let's try again, but slowly." Aaron smiled warmly, one step at a time. In that quiet moment, Aaron understood clearly what his journey was about. He had reached a crossroads, choosing between the heartless pursuit of ambition or embracing the simplicity of love. He'd finally chosen wisely. And now, his true journey was just beginning. Rebuilding bridges. Sunlight poured through the modest windows of Maya's small kitchen, illuminating worn countertops, faded linoleum floors, and walls painted a comforting shade of pale yellow. The morning felt gentle, deceptively calm compared to the storm raging inside Aaron's mind. He sat quietly at the kitchen table, sipping coffee from a chipped mug. It was worlds apart from the polished porcelain and imported blends of his former life, yet strangely, it tasted sweeter. The room held a peaceful simplicity that Aaron now deeply valued. Nathan's laughter echoed softly from the small yard outside, the boy playing happily with his favorite toy trucks, his innocent voice filling the air with joyful noises. Aaron watched him through the window, absorbing every detail, every expression, things he had missed during Nathan's early years. The feeling of loss stung, yet gratitude for this second chance quickly soothed the ache. Maya entered the kitchen quietly, her presence comforting yet guarded. Their newfound peace remained fragile. She offered him a gentle smile, pouring herself a cup of coffee and settling opposite him. For a moment, neither spoke, allowing a comforting silence to settle around them. "You seem thoughtful today." Maya finally broke the silence, studying Aaron carefully. Her voice was warm but cautious, as if she expected him to vanish at any moment. Aaron sighed softly, placing his mug down. "I was just thinking about how different things could have been if I'd stayed, if I'd known." His voice was tinged with regret, sincerity evident in his eyes. "I missed too much." Maya's expression softened slightly. She traced patterns absent-mindedly on the table surface. "The past can't be changed, Aaron. But you're here now. That's what matters." He nodded, meeting her gaze earnestly. "I'm not going anywhere, Maya. But there's still so much trust to rebuild, especially with Nathan. He deserves to know me as more than just a visitor." Maya hesitated, vulnerability briefly flickering across her face. "He asks about you often now. I see him opening up, but he's also cautious. Children sense authenticity. He's still learning to trust that you won't disappear again." Aaron's chest tightened. "I won't ever put him, or you, through that again. But I know my words alone won't erase years of absence. I need to prove it through actions." Maya watched him silently, weighing his words carefully. Eventually, she nodded gently. "Then let's take another step." Aaron looked up, intrigued yet cautious. "What do you suggest?" She smiled softly, thoughtfully. "Nathan has a school event tomorrow, a father-child picnic. He's never gone. He's too young to fully grasp what he's missed, but he notices the other fathers there. He doesn't complain, but it hurts him. Maybe you could go with him." Aaron's heart leaped with hope and anxiety. It was a small yet profound gesture of trust, A chance to openly step into Nathan's life as his father. He responded without hesitation. Absolutely. I'd love that. Maya smiled, relieved yet still hesitant. He'll be thrilled. Just remember, Aaron, it's not about impressing him. It's about being present. Aaron nodded solemnly. I understand. The next afternoon, Aaron pulled into the parking lot of Nathan's small preschool, his stomach twisting with a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. Nathan sat quietly in the backseat, holding tightly onto his small backpack decorated with cartoon trucks. Aaron turned slightly, meeting the boy's uncertain eyes in the mirror. Ready for this, buddy? Nathan gave a shy nod, his tiny smile brightening slightly. Yeah. Hand in hand, they approached the crowded schoolyard, filled with families, colorful picnic blankets, and cheerful voices echoing off brick walls. Aaron quickly noticed the curious glances from other parents, recognizing him perhaps from magazine covers or news articles. Yet today, his reputation meant nothing compared to the small hands squeezing his own. They chose a spot beneath a large oak tree. Aaron unpacked the simple sandwiches and snacks Maya had thoughtfully prepared. Nathan's eyes sparkled with excitement, chattering about his classmates and teachers as he settled comfortably beside Aaron, munching happily. An hour passed effortlessly as Aaron listened intently, genuinely enjoying his son's innocent storytelling. Yet amidst the laughter and playful chatter, Aaron noticed a tall, well-dressed figure approaching. It was David Harris, an influential businessman and a former rival, his daughter close at his side. Aaron Maxwell. David greeted warmly, but with surprise, extending a hand in polite greeting. I never expected to see you here. Aaron shook his hand politely, sensing the subtle judgment beneath David's smile. David, good to see you. David's eyes flicked between Aaron and Nathan, curiosity clear. I heard you stepped back from business. People are speculating about your reasons. Is this related? Aaron looked down at Nathan, who was quietly watching the exchange. He gently placed a protective arm around his son's shoulders. Yes, it is. This is Nathan, my son. He's the most important reason I ever stepped back. David raised an eyebrow, clearly skeptical. Interesting. I hope you understand the cost. People are already wondering if you've lost your edge. Aaron met David's gaze steadily, his confidence unwavering. You know, David, I've spent my life chasing success, building an empire, but none of it truly satisfied me. Being here today with my son means more than any billion-dollar deal ever could. David's expression faltered slightly, caught off guard by Aaron's sincerity. After a brief pause, he nodded slowly. I hope it's worth it. Aaron smiled warmly, gently squeezing Nathan's shoulder. It already is. Nathan, sensing something important had occurred, nestled closer into Aaron's side, quietly but firmly establishing his place beside his father. Later that evening, as twilight painted the sky lavender and gold, Aaron and Maya sat together on her front porch, watching Nathan chase fireflies across the yard, his laughter pure and joyful. He looks happy, Maya remarked softly, her voice warm with contentment. Today meant a lot to him. Aaron's eyes remained fixed on Nathan, emotion thickening his voice. It meant even more to me. For the first time, I felt truly alive, not just existing. Maya turned to him, her eyes gently searching his face. You've changed so much, Aaron. It's beautiful, but part of me still worries. Can someone really change this profoundly? Aaron sighed softly, nodding in understanding. Maya, all my life I chased dreams that weren't mine. Wealth, status, power, things I thought would bring happiness. But in reality, they left me empty. Meeting Nathan and reconnecting with you showed me the truth. Happiness isn't about gaining more. It's about loving fully. I don't want to go back. This is where I belong now. Maya's eyes filled with unshed tears, vulnerability, and hope mingling. Then we'll keep moving forward, one step at a time. Gently, Aaron reached for her hand, his touch warm, comforting. together. In the days that followed, Aaron began quietly dismantling aspects of his former life, making his intentions clear. He shifted roles at his company, empowering trusted colleagues to take over day-to-day operations. The business world watched, bewildered yet fascinated, as one of their most prominent figures willingly stepped back from power. But Aaron's heart was lighter, freer. He devoted himself entirely to rebuilding trust, immersing himself in fatherhood, and steadily repairing the broken bonds with Maya. One rainy evening, as thunder rumbled quietly outside, Aaron helped Nathan build a blanket fort in the living room. They huddled together inside it, Nathan's small head resting gently against Aaron's chest, slowly drifting toward sleep. "Dad?" Nathan murmured softly, voice sleepy and trusting. Aaron's heart skipped at hearing Nathan use that word for the first time. "Yes, buddy. Are you gonna stay here forever?" Nathan asked innocently, his eyes hopeful yet uncertain. Aaron's chest tightened with emotion as he gently held his son closer. "Yes, Nathan. I promise you. I'll be here forever." Nathan smiled softly, eyes closing peacefully. "Good." Aaron stayed awake long after Nathan fell asleep, quietly reflecting on the miracle of second chances. He'd chased false dreams, losing himself in a world that promised everything yet offered nothing real. But now, beneath a simple blanket fort in a modest home, holding his sleeping child, Aaron had finally discovered genuine happiness. Life had given him another chance, not just to succeed, but to truly live, and he intended to cherish it fully. Echoes of the past. Rain pelted the windows gently, a steady, comforting rhythm echoing through Maya's cozy living room. Aaron sat alone on the sofa, deep in thought, the soft glow from a lamp casting gentle shadows across his contemplative face. He had spent the past several months rebuilding trust, creating memories with Nathan, and slowly mending his relationship with Maya. Life finally felt meaningful, and Aaron no longer questioned his decision to trade success for family. Yet tonight, the quiet peace he'd begun to cherish was disrupted by an unexpected call. His phone vibrated quietly, displaying an unfamiliar yet vaguely recognizable number. He hesitated briefly before answering. "Hello, Aaron Maxwell." A smooth female voice replied, confident and composed. Aaron recognized it instantly, Vanessa. He stiffened, surprised, but maintained his composure. "Vanessa, this is unexpected." "I know," she replied softly, sincerity seeping into her normally guarded tone. "I wouldn't reach out if it weren't important. Can we meet?" Aaron glanced toward Maya's closed bedroom door, where Nathan was reading bedtime stories with her. He exhaled slowly, conflicted yet intrigued. Vanessa was part of his past, a life he'd deliberately left behind. Yet he sensed genuine urgency in her voice. "All right," he finally responded, just briefly. They agreed to meet at a quiet coffee shop downtown. As Aaron arrived, he spotted Vanessa seated alone, her elegant appearance unchanged, yet something softer now reflected in her eyes. She offered a small smile, hesitant yet genuine, motioning for him to join her. "Aaron," she began quietly as he settled across from her, "you look different." He nodded slowly. "I feel different." "What's going on, Vanessa?" She hesitated, visibly gathering courage. "First, I owe you an apology. When you chose Maya and Nathan, I was hurt. But now, after seeing how happy you've become, I understand. You were right. What we had, it wasn't real enough." Aaron was surprised by her openness, sensing sincerity. "Thank you, Vanessa. That means a lot." She nodded, glancing nervously at her cup. "But that's not why I called. Aaron, people from your old life haven't forgotten you. Rumors are spreading in our circles, people speculating about your decision to leave everything behind. Some admire you, others criticize, but it's caused attention you might not want." Aaron frowned slightly, wary. "What kind of attention?" She exhaled slowly, her gaze troubled. "Robert Holden, your biggest rival. He's been making moves against your company. He thinks your priorities have weakened you. He's trying to take advantage, turning your business partners against you, attempting to force you completely out. Aaron leaned back, absorbing the revelation. Robert Holden was ruthless, influential, someone he'd once admired. Yet Aaron felt oddly calm. Honestly, Vanessa, my company no longer defines me. I chose a different path. She shook her head firmly, eyes intense. I understand, Aaron, but Holden is vindictive. He won't just stop at your business. If he senses weakness, he could target your personal life. Maya, Nathan. He wants to see you fail completely. Aaron's expression darkened instantly, protectiveness surging powerfully. He wouldn't dare. Vanessa hesitated, concern clear. Maybe not openly, but behind closed doors. Holden's ruthless enough to do anything. Aaron took a deep breath, anger mixing with determination. I appreciate you warning me, Vanessa. I'll handle it. She smiled faintly, relieved yet cautious. Be careful, Aaron. You've chosen something beautiful. Don't let anyone steal it from you. Aaron nodded solemnly, grateful yet cautious. I won't. Returning home, Aaron found Maya waiting anxiously in the living room, her eyes questioning. Everything all right? He hesitated, weighing how much to share, before settling beside her, honesty winning out. Vanessa called. She warned me about Robert Holden. He's targeting my old company and potentially our family. Maya's eyes widened briefly with worry, her hands tightening nervously. Why? What did we ever do to him? It's about pride and power, Aaron explained softly, taking her hand gently. I threatened his worldview by walking away from everything he worships. Now he wants to make me regret it. Maya's gaze hardened protectively. We fought too hard for our family. What can we do? Aaron exhaled slowly, resolve clear. I'll face him directly. But first, I need to secure our future, completely. The next day, Aaron stepped back into his luxurious downtown office building, the sleek glass structure feeling strangely foreign now. Employees watched curiously, whispering softly about their former CEO's unexpected return. Aaron ignored the attention, purposefully entering the executive boardroom, where his former business partners waited expectantly. He addressed them calmly but firmly. Gentlemen, I've heard Robert Holden is pressuring you to force me out. Let me make this simple. I willingly stepped back because my family matters more than anything else. But I won't tolerate threats against them or my integrity. James Sinclair, Aaron's trusted CFO and longtime friend, spoke cautiously. Aaron, Holden claims you've lost your competitive edge. Aaron smiled faintly, shaking his head. James, you misunderstand. Choosing family doesn't weaken me. It strengthens me. Before, I chased success out of fear and insecurity. Now I understand genuine strength comes from purpose, from loving something deeply enough to protect it fiercely. Holden can't defeat a man who's already won the real prize. His powerful words resonated deeply in the room, silencing doubts and reaffirming trust. James smiled knowingly, nodding respectfully. We're behind you, Aaron. Your legacy here speaks louder than Holden's threats. Aaron thanked them sincerely, securing their loyalty before departing confidently. He knew Holden's ego wouldn't allow him to back down easily. But Aaron now possessed clarity and courage rooted in genuine love, stronger than any power or wealth. Days later, Aaron received an unexpected visitor at Maya's home. Robert Holden himself stood outside, imposing yet visibly uncertain. Aaron faced him calmly on the porch, refusing to invite hostility into the peaceful home he created. Robert, Aaron greeted evenly, holding steady eye contact. What brings you here? Holden hesitated briefly, arrogance mingling with insecurity. You've disrupted our world, Aaron. Men like us don't walk away easily. What exactly are you trying to prove? Aaron smiled slightly, confident yet compassionate. That success means nothing without purpose. For years, we both chased wealth, power, control, Yet happiness eluded us. But when I finally walked away, Robert, I found peace. I have a family I deeply cherish and a life filled with meaning. Can you honestly say the same? Robert flinched, visibly unsettled by Aaron's authenticity. You think sentimentality protects you. I could destroy your company. Aaron met his gaze calmly, unshakably confident. Do it. But you won't defeat me, because everything I truly value stands right here behind me. My real strength isn't something you can touch. Robert hesitated, a flash of envy and confusion crossing his hardened face. Eventually, he exhaled bitterly. You've changed, Aaron. I don't understand it, but perhaps I envy you. Aaron extended his hand genuinely. You could change too, Robert. It's never too late. Robert stared at Aaron's extended hand, conflict and regret warring within him. Eventually, he shook Aaron's hand stiffly, his gaze softer now. Perhaps someday. That evening, Aaron quietly entered Nathan's bedroom, watching his son sleep peacefully beneath cozy blankets. He felt a profound, protective love fill his chest, deeper than any business triumph or luxury. Maya joined him softly, her warmth comforting as she rested a gentle hand on his shoulder. It's over. Aaron nodded, relief evident. Holden won't threaten us again. But today reminded me exactly why I made the choices I did. This, our family, is my greatest treasure. She smiled warmly, leaning closer. I'm proud of you, Aaron. He gently wrapped an arm around her, emotion thickening his voice. And I'm grateful every day for this second chance. Together, beneath soft moonlight filtering through the window, they stood united, stronger than ever before. Aaron Maxwell had conquered his past, chosen purpose over profit, and finally found a victory worth protecting forever. A life worth living. Months passed gently, each day bringing Aaron closer to the genuine happiness he'd once considered unattainable. The conflicts of his past, ambition, rivalry, and regret, had slowly faded into echoes, replaced by moments filled with laughter, warmth, and love. He had finally become the man he'd always needed to be, not just a powerful entrepreneur, but a dedicated father and partner. Yet, despite the peace he built, Aaron knew one final bridge still awaited repair, fully reconnecting with Maya's heart. It was a crisp autumn morning when Aaron made a quiet decision. He stood alone in the modest kitchen, preparing breakfast. Pancakes, Nathan's favorite. Maya entered softly, pausing briefly to watch him. Her heart warmed at the sight. Aaron Maxwell, former billionaire CEO, now flipping pancakes with quiet joy, smiling softly to himself. It was simple, yet profound. You seem happy, she observed gently. He turned, his expression softening warmly. I am, Maya. More than I ever imagined possible. She approached, leaning against the countertop, eyes searching his face carefully. You've come so far, Aaron. Sometimes I wonder if you miss your old life. The luxury, the excitement. He shook his head slowly, sincerity clear in his eyes. Luxury isn't happiness, Maya. Excitement fades. What I have here, our family, our home, it's lasting, real. This life fulfills me completely. Her eyes glistened slightly, emotion swelling inside her. Do you really mean that? Aaron stepped closer, gently taking her hands in his. Every word. I've never felt more alive than when I'm here, with you and Nathan. But there's still one thing missing. Her breath caught nervously. What? You, he said softly but firmly, vulnerability shining clearly in his gaze. Fully. I've done everything I can to prove myself worthy of your trust again. But I want more. Maya, I want us. She hesitated, vulnerability mingling with hope. Aaron, what we have now, it's so delicate. Are you sure you're ready to risk that? I don't want to risk losing it again, he admitted honestly. But I don't want to live life half-heartedly either. I love you, Maya. I never stopped. Will you let me prove it fully? Her eyes filled with tears, joy overcoming caution. Aaron, that's all I've ever wanted. Gently cupping her cheek, Aaron leaned in, softly kissing her, a promise sealed not only in words but in heartfelt sincerity. It was a kiss that held the past, present, and future, a perfect, timeless moment. Nathan's excited laughter broke through, causing them both to smile gently, foreheads pressed together. "Our son's awake," she whispered lovingly. "Our son," Aaron repeated warmly, savoring the depth of meaning behind those words. Life fell beautifully into place. Aaron, fully accepted back into Maya's heart, now embraced every moment wholeheartedly. He'd begun a new venture, one grounded in purpose rather than mere profit, launching a charitable foundation focused on supporting struggling families. His reputation, once defined by ruthless ambition, shifted to that of a compassionate leader, deeply admired for choosing authenticity over affluence. Maya had finally opened her design studio, and this time, without Aaron's interference or financial intervention. She grew it organically, supported gently yet respectfully by Aaron, who watched with pride as she flourished independently. Their partnership was no longer about dependence, but mutual support, two people strengthening one another rather than overshadowing. Nathan thrived, secure in his parents' love, blossoming into a bright, compassionate boy who proudly told classmates about his father, his hero. Aaron's heart swelled every time he heard Nathan speak those words, understanding he'd finally become worthy of them. 1 year after fully reuniting, Aaron planned a quiet evening celebration, a milestone marking their transformation. He chose to host a simple dinner at home, a place symbolic of his greatest accomplishment, love. He set the table beautifully, simple candles casting gentle light, flowers fresh and carefully selected. As Maya entered, she paused, touched deeply by the thoughtful scene. "Aaron, what's this?" she asked warmly. He took her hand gently, sincerity shining brightly. "A thank you. 1 year ago today, you fully trusted me again. I wanted to celebrate, not just us, but the life we've built." She smiled softly, moved deeply. "It's perfect." Dinner passed beautifully, laughter and stories shared easily. Nathan had fallen asleep happily, leaving Aaron and Maya alone beneath quiet moonlight streaming through windows, illuminating their faces gently. Taking a deep breath, Aaron reached into his pocket, retrieving a small velvet box. Maya's heart quickened, emotions swelling powerfully. "Maya," he began earnestly, voice thick with genuine feeling, "I once thought wealth defined success. But I was wrong. Success is loving someone fully and being loved in return. It's raising a child who knows happiness and security. It's building a life filled with purpose and meaning. All of these I have because of you." Opening the box, he revealed a beautiful yet simple ring, an elegant symbol of sincerity rather than extravagance. "Will you marry me again, Maya, this time forever?" Tears spilled freely from Maya's eyes, her voice filled with emotion. "Yes, Aaron, forever." He slipped the ring onto her finger gently, sealing their promise with another deeply heartfelt kiss, cementing their future together, stronger than ever. Time moved forward peacefully. Their small wedding ceremony was intimate, held in the backyard beneath gentle spring sunlight. Close family and friends gathered warmly. Nathan proudly stood beside them, his joyful laughter echoing as he handed his parents their rings, forever uniting the family Aaron had almost lost. Later that night, Aaron sat quietly outside beneath the stars, Maya nestled warmly beside him, Nathan asleep nearby. He reflected deeply on his journey, from a powerful businessman defined by ambition, to a man whose true legacy was love and family. Maya gently squeezed his hand. "You seem reflective tonight." He nodded thoughtfully, eyes gazing softly upward. "I spent years chasing success, believing it was wealth, power, reputation. Yet true success was always here, waiting quietly in simple moments like these. Loving you, raising Nathan, helping others. That's the legacy worth leaving." She rested her head gently on his shoulder, warmth flooding her voice. "You found your way home, Aaron. You became the man you always wanted to be." He kissed her softly, gratitude filling his heart profoundly. "Because you showed me what truly mattered." They sat quietly together beneath infinite stars, peace washing gently over them. Aaron finally understood the meaning of life, not merely to exist, but to live fully, love deeply, and leave behind a legacy of genuine happiness and purpose. He had climbed mountains of ambition and descended into valleys of regret, only to discover true fulfillment resting quietly in the simple, beautiful moments of life, moments shared with the people who mattered most. In choosing love over ambition, family over fortune, Aaron Maxwell had found the richest treasure of all, a life worth living.